Hey, 6th graders, last section of the chapter. We're looking at estimating with percents today. You want to be able to estimate the percent of a number. Most of the time when we're talking about estimating with percents, we're usually actually talking about using the fraction that's associated with that percent in a problem to help us estimate. So some good percent fraction equivalents to know and to have memorized just to make it a little bit easier. 20% is the same as 1/5. 30% is the same as 3/10. 40% is the same as 2/5. 50% is the same as 1/2. 60% would be 3/5. 70% would be 7/10. 80% is going to be 4/5. 90% is 9/10, and 100% is 1. 25%, if you think about quarters, is the same as 1/4. 75% is 3/4. And a couple of them that you might not be as aware of, 33 1/3% is the same as 1/3, and 66 2/3% is the same as 2/3. So it's kind of handy because you can just use the fractions right in the number. One thing that I didn't include in here is 10%, which would be the same as 1/10. So if you wanted to add that one in, not a problem. Alright, so now let's look at an example. We want to estimate 52% of 298. So once again, because we're estimating, we can use rounding. 52% is pretty gosh darn close to 50%, which is the same as half of a number. 298, we could use that, but a better number to make it easier would be 300. Half of 300 would be 150, so 52% of 198 would be about 150. So I'm planning a hiking trip for spring break, and we want to hike a total of 38 miles. If I want to complete 25% of that by the end of the first day, about how many miles should I hike the first day? So you go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own and just kind of see how you end up doing it. Because we want to do 25% of 38, but we just want to know about, so that's going to key me that I should estimate. So 25% would be 1/4. We don't have to round that one, it's exact. 38% is about 40. So really, if you remember back earlier when we were estimating with fractions, this is 40 divided by 4, or is about 10 miles the first day. Otherwise, another way you can do it is using a proportion. It's kind of like we were doing before when we were making predictions. So 1 out of 4 needs to be the same as out of 40. So we could say times 10 times 10, and we would have 10 out of 40. So it would be about 10 miles. So now why don't you go ahead and pause the video and try these next problems on your own. You can use mental math, you can use proportions, whatever you feel you need to help figure these out. So on a recent 27 question test, I did not do very well, and I got a 60%. About how many questions did I get correct? So 60%, if you remember back to our one of our first slides, is 3/5. Don't have to round that one. We're going to do 3/5 of 27. Now we could do 25 or 30. 27 is slightly closer to 25, so that's what I'm going to use. For a lot of you, because it's the 3 on top, it might be easier to use the proportion, so I'm going to do 3/5 is the same as what out of 25? 5 times 5 is 25, so 3 times 5 would be 15, so it would be about 15 questions correct. Alright, the next one, a CD that originally cost $11.90 is on sale for 30% off. If I have $7, do I have enough to buy the CD? So if it's 30% off, we can find 30% of $11.90, or we can do 30% of $12. 30% is going to be 3/10 of 12. Once again, we can use a proportion. On this one, it might be easier to use cross products, so we have 3 times 12, which would be 36, has to equal 10 times our number. Divide by 10, which just means we take our decimal point and we move it back one spot. So it becomes $360. Now that's the amount that we get off of the price. That's not what we're actually paying. So now I'm going to take my 12 and I'm going to subtract my $360. So if I have 12 minus 3, I have $9, but I still have to subtract 60 cents from that, which leaves me with $8.40 for a total. So if I have $7, I don't have enough to buy the CD. Last problem, if a polar bear can eat up to 10% of their body weight in less than an hour, an adult male weighs 715 pounds on average, about how much could that bear eat in an hour? So 10% would be 1/10, and I'm just going to use 700 just to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to do 1/10 of 700 over 1, so this is going to be times 70 times 70, which gives us about 70 pounds in an hour. Don't forget to leave a question on Edmodo when you're done taking your notes, and we will chat tomorrow.